Starting the recording. Hey everyone, this is OotiniCast episode 392. Deck, we're just starting the stream up. No worries, we're not starting the podcast yet. This is episode 392 being recorded on 2020 July 14th. And let's see, this will be the raw version of the show with all the bloopers and flubs and whatever, and then we will edit it up and put it out as a podcast tomorrow. And let me go ahead and put this in the right corner. And I will tweet out that we are going. And then if you guys are ready, we'll get the show going.
Yep. Let me start Audacity really quick.
That's great.
Recording.
All right.
And it's 392.
So what's up with that R2-D2 there, Deck? In the
Which
back?
one? Oh, that's a... I got that during Rise of Skywalker. They were selling them. It was a popcorn tray.
Oh. Oh
That was interesting. Okay, so I've tweeted it out. Was that your kitty?
Yeah, did you hear him?
A little bit. It was quiet, but I could barely make out a little kitty noise. And Deck, let's see. So you got yourself all sorted, Deck? You ready to go?
Ready to roll.
All right, and everyone's. I think everyone's Audacity is already going.
Already going.
All right. So let me get my stuff just in the right spot where I like it, and we'll get going. All right, going in 5. Let me get some water too. Hi, and welcome to the OotiniCast, the podcast that will take the next chance and the next, on and on until we win or all our chances are spent. This is episode 392 being recorded on Tuesday, July 14th, 2020. I'm your host, Chill, and with me is my co-host, KittyKissz. Hey, Kitty.
Hey, Chill.
And today, our guest is our guild leader, Dekion. How you doing, Dek?
Hey, guys. Welcome aboard, Kitty.
Oh, thank you.
And what you been up to in game, Dek?
Oh, gosh. Just trying to do a lot of conquest. We set the Utini Knight side on medium and the Utini Rage side on large last week.
Right.
Easily made Utini Knights with the 2 million points, but Utini Rage was a struggle. We were at a little under 4 million on Monday morning, so everyone rallied together and we pulled it through. We ended up with about 5.5 million at the close of the conquest this morning.
Yeah, that was nice. It essentially all came together with the operation that you led us into. So we did Karaga's Palace, and that was nice.
Yeah, it was awesome to get the group together. We had 2 people that had never done Karaga's Palace,
including the tank.
Including our only tank, and he did a fantastic job. And
yes,
he
he actually did.
He had been a member of the guild for approximately 45 minutes at that point.
Nice.
Who was it?
Harrison.
Oh, nice. Well done.
Yeah, I was quite favorably impressed because I used to tank operations all the time, and so I know how to tank that one. And so I was a little nervous, even though it was story mode. First time tank is always a little tricky, but he did really well, especially on the last boss, which is probably the hardest one to tank story mode, where you have to have the boss in the right position and keep yourself out of the fire, but also keep things moving along right. And yeah, he did really, really well. I was very, very happy.
I think what really impressed me is during the puzzle boss. I was the off tank, and I was ready to take aggro when his stacks got up there. But he landed at about 10 stacks, and the boss had about 40% health left. And the guy was brilliant at his rotation. I don't think he went under 80% health any time during the fight.
Wow.
So he definitely stood on his own. So glad to have him in the guild.
Yeah, that was really, really good. Yeah, so I'm glad I'm working on having DPSers ready, because it seems like my tank, as much as I like to play them, we have enough tanks now, so I'll probably be doing a lot of DPSing, which is fun too. So yeah, and what else have you been doing besides the guild runs and so on?
Well, starting today, the Narshada and Mekshah nightlife event began.
Right.
Yeah.
I've already spent about 7 million credits
Whoa.
purchasing Kingpin coins and smuggler coins.
Mm-hmm. I have a
Gotten
whole
Rodian
tip of the week about that. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to that. Have you gotten any Emperor's chips yet?
I have. I haven't gotten anything from the machine other than I did get 50 Kingpin tokens.
That's what I got too, which is cool. Yeah, that's a lot of Kingpin tokens.
But I noticed I logged out of one tune and started it on another tune, and I don't know if it's a bug or if those machines have a cooldown cycle. But every time I would run up to it, and I had plenty of Emperor coins, the machine it acted like it was turn off, and even when I would move my cursor over it, it just stayed an arrow. It didn't.
Are you talking about the one that's near the taxi?
It's at the beginning at the
because the one the one at the front of the casino seems to be inactive. The one at the back near the quest people and the mission people and the vendors seems to work. But
that's the one I had luck with. But after I logged into a different tune, it was acting like it was turned off. And there's actually a third one up on the second story.
Okay.
That was doing the same thing. Okay,
so there's some sort of internal cooldown, either on, I don't know, legacy wide, or maybe the machine itself has a long cooldown. I don't know.
That's I was reading general chat and noticed other people had the same issue.
Okay, or maybe it's just a bug. Yeah, I mean, it's just a new machine, so there could be a bug involved with it.
No.
So. Is there something specific that you really want this time?
Just all new stuff. I want the mount, of course, and I want the pet. Or is it a companion or a pet? Yeah.
I'm not sure yet, actually. I saw
droid.
The Gonk droid looks really cool. Yeah. It's big enough to be a companion, but it could just be a gigantic pet.
Right. It's hard to say.
Yeah,
I haven't cool looking though. I
haven't actually gotten one yet either, so I haven't played that much, so it's not too surprising. Nice. And we had the Jar Jar Joy rides as well, so we did a lot of like the world bosses. At least we tried to. It was a little tricky. There's a lot of other groups doing the same thing we were, apparently.
Yes. Definitely on Friday night. I think we hit Snowblind. We searched in every instance for probably about an hour for Gargath, and he never decided to show up.
Right.
So
and then the week before that, wasn't the Jar Jar Joyride wasn't that Gods from the Machine?
We did Gods from the Machine.
Yeah, almost all the way through. We got to the last boss.
We did get through the last boss,
which is
really great group.
Yeah, that's really remarkable, especially for we're sort of semi-pugging it and completely casual about it, and we still got to the last boss, and we one-shot even some of the very hard bosses. So
yes, which was really awesome because. There were a lot of people, we were seeing achievements fly every time we hit a boss. And
that was nice.
We were only doing 8-man, but it still seemed like, we plowed through until the end. And unfortunately, I think it was mostly time. By then, we have a lot of people on the East Coast. And, it's getting to be 12:30 in the morning. And I think the exhaustion boss beat us rather than Isaac did.
Maybe so, yeah. Yeah. Plus, that's a really tricky boss to learn the first time. Even on story mode, there's a lot going on, a whole lot going on.
Yes.
Definitely
some new mechanics that you've not really ever seen in the game before.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Especially not in story mode, where things are usually simplified to a somewhat greater degree than they are on that fight. That fight feels like they did not simplify it very much, or what?
No, they did not.
It's very cool, though. Very cool fight. So
yes,
yeah. And was there anything else?
That's honestly about it.
All right.
other than if anyone knows where there's a Nightlife Anonymous meeting,
Yeah.
please hit me up on Twitter or Discord.
we're gonna have to bring Doc back on the show.
That's right.
Yeah, we might have to.
That is his bailiwick for sure. So, all right, Kitty, what you been up to?
Been doing a lot of gaming, of course. Doing the conquest every day. I kind of start the game out every day by running one character just on CZ to get conquest. So at least I'm getting,
CZ's a good one.
Yeah, like around 7 or 8 characters to conquest every week. Plus, it gives me a chance to get warmed up before I start, getting into it, I guess.
Nice.
And then I realized that I do it every day, and then I thought, wait a minute, I have a bunch of characters that are only level 70. Why not use those characters so I can level them up as well as get conquest? So
sure,
I'm kind of killing 2 birds with 1 stone there. That only took however many years to figure that one out.
But you don't have to start from scratch every time.
I know, right?
Kitty, you realize you had over 25% of our Utini Knights conquest points, right?
I plead the 5th. Yeah, I did a little bit of the nightlife event this morning, and I was hoping, that I was just going to kind of hit the magic note and get one of the new, like the Gonk droid, but nothing happened. I did find, and I wasn't aware of this, but the Hut token, what's it called again?
The big one, the Emperor's token one?
Yeah, the Emperor's token. I was doing McKeb's storylines, and I got 3 different drops off of 3 different NPCs. So I got 3 tokens doing nothing.
Nice.
With the nightlife event. So, which is a clever way for BioWare to get us to go there,
Right.
Well, I got these tokens.
Anyway.
I might as well go
yeah.
throw
And
some more into
that's
the
right. Spend some on the vendor too. Got to sync those credits.
Yeah. I've gotten the Victor set everybody gets. You get tons and tons of the Victor drops.
And actually, I like that for solo characters who I don't care about getting like other, sort of end game sets. It's a great like running around doing solo stuff set.
I think it's my favorite set right now. So I kind of have mains out of my characters. And I've decided to get a Victor set for all of those characters so that I don't have to keep, going to the vendor and getting my new, taking it off a character and then putting it onto another character. So I think I've got 4 characters with a full Victor set so far. And I'm going to just keep rolling and see what happens. But that's about it. And just, having fun doing the stream.
Excellent. All right. Well, let me give a shout out to the people in the chat room who are already here. Beware is here. Electrical Longboard. Eric PA 972. Flocky Loki, I guess is how you pronounce that. I don't know, but hi. Fox Voyeurs. Fee is here. Hey Fee. Han Soya. Master Lil, hey Lil. Arjar's here. Arjar, hey. And Squitchy Twitchy, hey everyone. All right, and let's see, what I've been doing is, well, besides the stuff with the guild, which has been really fun, I got the Poison Ivy character almost all the way done with Kotet. In fact, I did the second to last chapter today, shortly before the show. Black Widow, meanwhile, is halfway through Prelude to Shadow of Revan. She's not 75 yet, but I think she's in like the 60s, I think. High 60s, probably. Can't remember. It's been a couple of days. Because I was actually like focusing on helping the Empire side. Let's see. So I did get the 6-piece gear on Ivy, and that 3rd tactical advantage that you get is really helpful because it means it's up more, and you get the 5% extra damage whenever you have one. So it makes it easy to actually keep one on you. I also just like in general the set, in the other stuff it does, and then I also, because I now have the right items and I kind of have the right like mods and stuff too, stuff like that. So I'm starting to add to do the amplifiers. I've got most of the amplifiers pretty much right where they need to be, and on lethality it's periodic intensity, and it's a lot of extra damage. It's actually noticeable. Like, I basically just spent like a few million just getting most of it done like all at once, and then the next time I was out on her, I just really noticed a difference in the damage. It was really nice. The next one will be augments. I don't really have any endgame augments right now because not too long ago I was working on it for my mains, my tanking mains, and so, I kind of didn't have any kits, didn't have any augments, so I'm working on that, kind of starting from scratch. I've got a couple now ready to put in, and almost have enough kits too, so we'll get that done probably next, I don't know, week or two, something like that. Yeah, and like I say, Black Widow on the Republic side is halfway through Shadow of Revan, and I'm still doing it with her not using a companion, or technically out but on passive. And that's actually pretty fun. It definitely slows things down, but I've got so many characters now, and it really doesn't matter. It doesn't bother me at all. It'll be interesting to see like some of the later on stuff, like if there's fights that I really have trouble without a companion. But that's part of the challenge. So I'm actually enjoying it. Yeah, it definitely feels. A lot of times it feels like we've gone back to like pre-Makeb SWTOR, like, but with a companion out back then, like that sort of level of difficulty where like golds take a while to get down, you take a lot of damage, you have to be on top of your interrupts and stuff like that. It's pretty good. It's definitely a challenge, and I'm liking that.
You get your defensive cooldowns down really well.
Yeah. And we've already talked about the Jar Jar Joyride, so I think we're good. So we'll move on to the tip of the week. No tips were sent in, but I did do a tip myself here. This is about the Nightlife event. It is back. I did jump on it today. I just spent a few thousand. I got like 50 smugglers tokens, so I guess that was 100,000. And I haven't even burned through all of them yet, but I burned through those, got some kingpins, ended up getting one Emperor's one, and then getting 50 kingpins, which was great. Wow. Because it takes a long time to burn through 50 kingpins. But I'll go through like sort of this is sort of like the idealized way of how to do it, assuming that you're actually trying to be efficient and you're not like, you don't care. Because if you don't care about credits, like if you have 1 billion credits or whatever, you could just buy kingpin tokens if you want to. It really that's totally fine. But assuming if you're more like me and it's like you're spending a lot of credits on alts and stuff like that, and you don't have tons of credits to just throw around, this is sort of like how you do it efficiently.
This is the annual Utini Nightlife tip of the week.
Yes, I'm sure we've talked about pretty much all this again. Year. Right, there's a few changes, of course, but not too much. So first of all, you can get some free tokens, smugglers and kingpin style, from doing the daily missions if you want. If you don't want, you can just go to the vendor and buy some. Again, this is the efficient way. Buy smuggler chips from the vendors. It's 2,000 each, or you can buy kingpin chips, but there's 75,000. Because of that, I don't recommend it. You will get if you buy 75,000 worth of smuggler chips and actually take the time to use them, you'll get way more than one kingpin chip out of it. Way more, for sure. Like, unless you have really horrible luck. All right, so then you play the smuggler machines. You can only play one at a time. You can do it once per global. And you just keep doing that until you have a number of kingpin chips. Also, before you go and spend those kingpin chips, you make sure you get the lucky buff, and looks like a blue hut on your buff bar. Make sure you have that as well, because when you're playing a kingpin chip, it improves your chances of getting something good. So you might as well have it.
Tiny bit of an improvement.
It's small, but you might as well have it. This is the efficient way. The fastest way to play the smuggler machines is to put your camera up high, stand between 4 machines. You hit one on the left side, one on the right side, then move backward or forward. Do one on the one side, one on the other side. And by the time you've done all that, the first one will have reset, and you can go back and do the first 2. Go back, do the other 2. So yeah, the range is really small. So even though it's pretty tight in there. You do have to move forward and back to hit all 4 of the machines at once. Because the machine takes a little cycle before it gives you its decision whether you get a prize or not. You can't just do one machine, or even 2 machines is kind of inefficient. So doing 4 machines like that is definitely an improvement.
This is on Nar Shaddaa. On Mekshah, they've changed the spacing between machines, and you can't move through them. They're really, really close together.
Yes,
I haven't seen that.
I've noticed that. I noticed that on the PTS, and thank you for pointing that out, because it sounds like they haven't changed it on live. On Mekshah, there's really no way to do the 4 machine thing. So I would personally, I'm just going to stick with Nar Shaddaa, just because they have those. You can go to the PvP node still. It's still somewhat less populated, although enough people know about that there's, even when I went there today, there was like 20 people on the PvP node. So it's not like it's deserted like it is, sometimes.
In Mekshah, I noticed Nar Shaddaa got a little too crowded. I wasn't able to get double or even quadruple machines. Mm-hmm. So I decided to check out Mekshah. And the atmosphere is amazing. It's very
cool
seedy,
looking.
very dark. But the best part is there was only 2 other players.
Right.
Yes.
So I'm sure that'll change after this airs. But
right.
This afternoon there were only 2 other players other than myself there.
Right. Hanso High says, my work productivity is going to be way down this week. Yes, indeed. And in fact, Dek, aren't you setting it so that we're not doing any large yields this week for Conquest?
I wanted to make sure Conquest didn't include, spend 1 million credits and get 15,000 Conquest points, which it didn't, because we're doing the Rakul like Conquest this week. But there's, everybody just enjoy your new addiction.
Right, exactly. All right, so let's see. We've talked about that. Once you've gotten the buff and some Kingpin chips, go play 2 machines by standing between them. Technically, there's 3 kind of side by side, but I find it's not really that great to try to strafe left and right and get all 3 of them going. So just kind of stand between 2 and just kind of I find that's the most reasonable way to do it. Just click on them one at a time. And watch your lucky buff, because if it disappears, and it will do so before it gives you the result, it'll actually disappear when you are about to get something good, a golden certificate or better.
Yeah, and it will disappear the moment you click the machine.
Exactly, and it happens right away, which means you shouldn't try to play any other machines once it disappears. So just kind of like click on them, but keep an eye on the lucky buff. As soon as that disappears, stop playing and see what you got. Go back and re-get the buff if you still have Kingpin chips to play, and then you can, once you're buffed up again, you can get it. Usually you'll get a golden certificate, but there's a lot of other jackpots out there too. This year there's an Emperor token. If you get it, you activate the 3rd kind of machine. I said only one of them. Apparently there are a couple, but they're not all over like they are with the other 2 types. You can tell what kind it is. There's a giant hut, and there's like this big. The machine itself is kind of there. It's around the same size, but there's this huge hut connected to it with like this big wheel and everything. And that's when, I don't know what all the prizes are, but you can definitely get 50 Kingpin tokens, because Dek and I have both done that, and that's really nice, because
that's awesome.
It takes a while to burn down 50 Kingpin tokens. That was really cool.
Chill, I also noticed that when you finished with the Emperor's machine, it recharges your feeling lucky buff.
I noticed that too. That was really interesting. Yeah. So that was really good. And one other thing is, if you've played it in past years, and it might have changed last year, but at one point the chips were actually regular inventory items. That's no longer the case. They are now on your currency tab.
Yes, it changed with 6.0.
Yeah, and it is account wide too. So I did switch from one character to the other, and I could still see the chips on the other character. So if you get them on one character, you can spend them on another, and that should be fine. And so enjoy. I do happen to like some of the stuff, like some of the items is still really good, and you can only get them at this time of year. Like the Black Vectron is one of the best Vectron vehicles in the game. The Kingpin guns are very nice. In fact, Black Widow is using the handgun because it has a nice little laser sight, and it just looks really cool. It looks like Han Solo's gun, plus it has a little laser sight on it. It's really, really nice. The blaster looks like a Tommy gun, complete with like the round magazine. Right. And some of the armor is kind of fun too. So yeah, and there's tons and tons of decos, like lots of bodyguards and patrons, and there's a lot of people, but then there's like the dance floor and the drinks machine and all kinds of stuff. So,
and they're not very expensive either.
No, not at the rate the golden certificates drop.
Yeah,
right. The golden certificates come pretty fast. They come pretty well, and and some of the older ones, including like the Rancor, are now buyable on the vendor. It takes a lot. It takes 30. But you can actually buy it, as opposed to when you would have to do it with a jackpot. So yeah, also, it's gonna be fun.
I'd like to also mention that the Kingpin machines drop cartel market certificates.
Yes,
which they had removed from cartel packs for the last few years, and the vendors in the cartel bazaar on the fleet do sell a lot of really, really cool stuff.
They really do.
For cartel market certificates. So if you find something from one of those vendors that you like, I believe a primary black die is 2 certificates. The secondary is 1 certificate.
Right. You can also get primary red dye, which is very hard to get otherwise.
Yep. This is the time to stock up.
Yes. Mm-hmm. I also I recently got a Grasslands Varactyl, because I have a black Varactyl that I just have account Y, but I don't have a Grasslands Varactyl, which is the green one, and I wanted that for Poison Ivy, so I got that with certificates. Yeah, and the red dye was really nice because, the straight red dye is basically a really expensive cartel market item otherwise. Like it's like multiple millions if you try to buy it on the GTN, and it's hundreds, I think, maybe more if you get it from the cartel market. So this is a really good way to get some good gear. Really nice gear.
There's also that you can buy some really cool skins for your companions that normally you would have to buy on the cartel market, and you can get them free there. And those can actually be unlocked for your legacy with cartel coins. So if you get one you like, unlock it for your whole account, and next time you get a Kira, you can have the same look for your Kira.
Yeah, that's nice stuff. All right, so if you have a tip of the week, please send it to OotiniCast@gmail.com before the next show for a chance to win a Taunfaun or M83R droid or M2B9 droid code, courtesy of BioWare, and an OotiniCast provided cartel market pack from the latest shipment. That'll bring us to the Mind Trap. Yeah.
Really, Chill, really quick. You forgot the most important tip about nightlife.
Oh, what's that?
When you get to the casino, dismiss your companion.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Because nobody likes somebody's companion standing on top of your machine or on top of your head while you're standing there at the slot machine.
Fair enough.
it's just courtesy.
Yeah, and it's a non-combat zone anyway. I mean, there's no one to fight even on the PvP node, because I think technically you could, except you really can't get anyone there. You can't get to the other side.
Right.
From there's separate casinos for each side, so you really can't fight. So, all right, so that'll bring us
out of my way.
That's right. That'll bring us to the Mind Trap. And so I sent this out about a week ago so I could give it the full amount of time possible for a Twitter poll. And I tweeted out, what is your favorite pre-Onslaught expansion in SWTOR? And I did that for a couple reasons. First of all, you can only have 4 slots, and this is the 5th expansion. So, I figured, well, we'll take away the current one, but also because I think when you're playing a current expansion, I think it tends to, like, people would tend to gravitate toward that one naturally. So I was kind of curious about what people thought of the previous expansions. And we did get over 1,000 votes. Pretty impressive. I think that's the most votes for any of them that has not been retweeted by SWTOR itself. And and I was kind of surprised by the results. So Dek, let's start with you. What did you have? Do you have a favorite out of the 4 pre-Onslaught expansions?
Yeah, I did. I actually voted for Shadow of Revan.
Okay. And did you have any particular reasons in mind when you did it?
It brought us Yavin and a couple of really awesome ops. There was a lot of content with that release, and I just really enjoyed the storyline. And who doesn't like Revan, right?
That's right. Yep. Kind of the throwback to the KOTOR thing. That did show up in some of the replies that people put too. If they mentioned Shadow of Revan, a lot of times it was because they said as a throwback to KOTOR. So that makes sense. And how about you, Kitty?
Mine too was Shadow of Revan. I liked the story, the different planets that we got, and I was a daily runner, so I would run dailies on all the planets and all the time back in the day. And Yavin was awesome because you got a whole bunch of money, and because there were so many dailies.
Yeah.
And I would always run them in the PvP instance, of course. And you'd every once in a while, get somebody to fight. And I always thought it was fun, and I was always kind of looking over my back. But then about the same amount of time that you find someone you're going to fight, you'll find someone that's like, hey, how you doing?
Right.
Just kind of go about your way. But I liked it. I like the little caves. I like the kind of intricacies that were there.
Right. The Sith you can click on, and they give you a buff and knock you to the ground.
Right.
Yeah.
The ghost.
Yep.
And just like all the little things that came with it were great. It's super fun.
Plus, you could get a walker once you got your reputation up.
Yeah.
That was my first walker. It's
amazing. A good walker. Yeah, it's a nice one too.
And there's some dyes too that you can get. Some great dyes on there.
Right. Yeah, I actually voted for Shadow of Revan myself as well. And as it turns out, that was pretty common. So let's going over the numbers. 53.8% Shadow of Revan, which out of 4 choices, one of them getting over half is kind of interesting. In last place was Kotet, Knights of the Eternal Throne, at just under 10%, 9.5%. Rise of the Hutt Cartel, however, wasn't far ahead of it at only 12.3%. However, Knights of the Fallen Empire did reasonably well with 24.3%. So so for me, Shadow of Revan, it was kind of a close call. I could have gone other ways actually, but I just felt like I enjoyed the story a lot on it. I think we have the introduction to Lana and to Theron especially.
Yep.
We have some of the interesting story beats. Like where Theron gets taken away. And Lana sort of half makes sure he gets kidnapped, and then he will never let it go. And like some of the weird missions, like where you have to stop a droid to talk about, to figure out where to go next. Yeah, the cryo droids, and you have to figure out that you have to click on the things when the cryo droid's underneath it to zap it. Lots of really cool stuff like that. Also, the little class stories they tucked in halfway through Rishi were a lot of fun as well. And then of course after that they did kind of stop doing operations for a while, but in Shadow of Revan there were 2 full operations, both of them really solid ones.
Yep, Ravagers and Temple of Sacrifice. Yeah,
both really, really fun, solid operations with really good boss fights and some interesting mechanics and all that. If I had to guess, I would say Knights of the Eternal Throne. I'm not sure why it suffers. Maybe because it felt like more of the same after Knights of the Fallen Empire. How on the other hand, it was the return of operations, which is kind of cool. But again, that came in 4th place. And Rise of the Hutt Cartel, I'm not sure why that one didn't do better. Possibly it was suffering because it was like the first expansion.
That's what I was thinking.
People were like, at that point they were very happy with having completely separate class stories, and so going down to one story for Republic, one story for Empire probably did feel like a change not for the better, so to speak, a change for the worse. And maybe people remember that about Rise of the Heart Cartel. Although looking back, I mean, there is some fun stuff in there. It also has some interesting operations, and as well as some pretty well done stories on that one as well. Yeah, and then
it also has one of the best lines from an NPC, and it's "Hands off the monkey lizard"
on Shadow of Revan. Yeah.
Every time I hear that, I always laugh.
Yeah, that's one of my favorites. In fact, I'm always disappointed. Usually you can hear it, but sometimes if you get through that mission, once in a while it'll say the other things and it won't say "hands off the monkey lizard." And if it doesn't say it, I'm always sad. So that was really interesting, and thank you everyone for voting. And if you have any suggestions for future mind traps, if you go ahead and either DM OotiniCast on Twitter or DM me directly, Brandon L. Star, that would work too. And I'll be looking out for for other mind traps to do. I'm still I'll have to get in the habit of doing it. I did remember this time, obviously, but that was Doc's sort of thing, so I'm having to change my habits. But this one was really fun, and again, thanks for voting. All right, so I guess we can go on to the holo feed. Not tons going on in game right now, but there are a few things to hit on. They did release the in-game events after the last show that'll kind of let us know what's going on. The swoop rally's already done for this time. The Narshada Nightlife is now active July 14th through August 11th, so it's basically a month, just under a month.
Nice.
And there is a little breadcrumb on the fleet. It's like near if you use the fleet pass, it's like right there. It's that thing right above your head when you get there. That's I
love that little intro. It always cracks me up. It
right.
always gets me excited for it too.
Yeah, they do a good job. Yeah. So there you go. We've already kind of touched a lot on that one. Some of the featured rewards: the Kingpin and Nightlife Socialite armor sets, Frojo, Nure, and Gamorrean bodyguard companions. I actually did like a couple Nightlifes ago when the Gamorrean bodyguard was like up for the first time, and I managed to get one. I actually did make a character, and I made that the companion for her the whole time, and I pretended like it was it was kind of like I made her like a healer, and he was like the big bruiser going around beating on everyone.
Oh, nice.
So that was a lot of fun to do. And I haven't actually gotten the Frojo Nure. He's the Rhodian, right? So I haven't gotten the Rhodian one. I did not get that one last time. But I probably should. I should go for that one. The Vectron Magnus is still available, and you can actually buy it from the vendor. Kingpin Rancor, same thing. Go ahead, Kitty.
Oh, I ended up getting 2 of the Rhodians 2 days in a row.
Nice.
And then nothing. I was like, woohoo! Oh.
Have you used the Rhodian at all?
Yeah, I have one that's kind of stored away for I don't know what, because I'm a pack rat, and the other one I have on my quote-unquote main.
Nice.
But, he's pretty cool. He's got like a prosthetic leg.
And,
wow. He's got he doesn't speak common or basic.
Right.
He speaks Rhodian or Huttish or whatever. And
I think they most of them do Huttese, but yeah.
He's got some cool animations too.
Okay, cool. Does he say some funny things when you went as far as the chat goes? Do you remember?
I can't remember exactly what he says, but his inflections are really cool. He almost sounds like he's being a jerk. He's like, "Oh, Makuta Bugedu." Like, what? What's going on over there?
Nice.
Yeah, he's pretty cool and is beautiful. Like I think he's purple, but yeah.
Excellent.
I highly recommend getting one.
Yeah, I definitely want to get one for sure. Absolutely. Let's
Kitty,
see.
can you do the rest of the podcast in Rhodian, please?
Copo Chapo Bonky.
Awesome. The new Kingpin's Predator mount, new taxidermy stronghold decorations, which is basically the heads of various creatures. For the most part, some of them are full body as well. Cartel market certificates and more. Also,
I seem to be winning a lot of the and more stuff.
Yes.
I noticed there's a lot more missions to do too.
Yes, they've added a few more.
I noticed that in Legacy, there are 7 new quests on each side. So
Right.
7
really
on Pub
cool.
and 7 on Imp. And you get achievements for completing all 7 of them.
Fun fact, be sure to read what to do on those missions, because I couldn't finish one and was like, I don't understand what's going on, and then went off to do something else and then read it, and I was just going, oh man.
You didn't click the mic, did you?
I didn't click the mic. I went around for a half an hour trying to talk to the NPCs.
Yeah,
And
I
then
did the
was
same
just like,
thing.
all right, I'm done.
I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah, there was one mission I had trouble when I was trying the test server, like, whatever it was, eight weeks ago or something. And yeah, I couldn't figure that one out. I'll have to go back and figure that one out for on live now.
I mean, it says it in the description of the mission.
Right.
But
And
I was
you click the mic, you dance on the floor. It's easy peasy. Or you can spend 30 minutes like Kitty and I did and run around trying to sell things to NPCs.
Yep. And the rat ghouls are back, this time on Alderaan, so more pandemic fun. If you're not having enough in real life, you can have it in your video game as well. And yeah, I actually do need I need Dr. Loken back on one of my characters, so I'm gonna do some stuff on him, or for him rather, to get him back. So I'm glad that this is back this week. We'll have to take care of that. It's it's the same as it always will. Dek, are we planning on doing some of the Rakul bosses for Jar Jar?
We're going to do the eyeless.
The eyeless?
Yay!
Yeah. Cool. Awesome.
So that's going to be on Pub side this week.
Right. The infected Varactyl and infected back mounts. I haven't gotten those ones before. I have the I don't know if it's infected, but it certainly looks Rakul infected. It's the Nexu one. I don't know if they call it infected, but they call it something like it.
Is it Anathema Beast?
No, I can't remember. It's definitely a Nexu, though.
Yeah, it's a Nexu.
Yeah, that one looks cool, too. And lots of mini pets, yes. And actually, if you have like a dot spec, you can definitely do pretty well with some of the Thorn armor. Like it all looks like Biohazard, emergency sort of sets. So good stuff for that. And
you can get the Rakul infection for some of your companions that you can romance, and that's fun.
Yeah, that's disturbing. Yeah,
that's very fun. Especially when you go in for the kiss and you're like, ooh.
Right. And I actually do, I usually, when I'm leveling a new character, I will run into the fleet, the Cartel Bazaar, and I grab one of the relics. It only gives endurance and presence, but when you're leveling, that's actually not so bad. And it also has the active that gives you like a 6-hour anti-rat ghoul serum buff, so you don't have to worry about those either. So it's good stuff. That's cool. Yeah.
Also, those skins for the companions, they're legacy bound. So if you want, you can use it on the same companion but on a different tune.
Cool. Okay.
To fulfill your zombie fetishes.
That's right.
Exactly.
Catch them all.
So that's all this week. It has started today, and then the last one is going to be coming up, and that's going to be the Swoop Rally return. That's going to be July 28th to August 4th, and this will be the second occurrence of the Swoop Rally. So pretty cool there. Did you guys do much of the Swoop Rally when it was last up?
Go ahead, Dek.
I did several races. I got rep up to, I don't know, the 3rd level or something.
Nice.
Yeah, just it kind of got a feel for what it was about and how to handle the course, and which play style was my favorite. So yeah, I think it's a pretty fun event. It's a lot more fun than I thought it was going to be. I watched all the streamers play it on the PTS, and I thought, wow,
that's where I did it.
Super boring.
Yeah.
But once you're actually there and you're doing it, and you're driving your mount, and you're trying to blow up things, or you're trying to
speed through whatever,
go through loops, or make that big jump, it's actually kind of fun.
Yeah, I agree.
What was your favorite?
I like the speed runs.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah,
I like speed runs.
That seems to be pretty popular. Favorite. Yeah, it's not everyone's favorite, but it's definitely probably the most common one for favorite. Right.
Plus, I think it has the best looking mount.
Okay, I haven't really checked that part out, but yeah, that'll be good. All right, yeah, and there's Swoop Rally mounts, regular and gold versions, Swoop Gang outfits, promotion droid mini pets, and some Stronghold decorations, and more.
And more this time includes tacticals, which
that's
I'm
cool.
very interested to see how those work.
I'll have to see which ones
you have to have legendary or legend status. So I don't know if anyone actually has it yet. Probably not. There's a cap.
Do you know what they're kind of aimed at? Are they aimed at like PvP or PvE or solo stuff? Or do you remember?
It really wasn't about combat. It was about like dismounting. Like, what happens if you dismount? Do you dismount and things blow up around you, or do you do like a specific little flare when you?
So it's a flavor. Yeah, that's cool. It's a flavor tactical. That's pretty awesome.
That's a great idea too.
I missed that.
Tacticals for non-combat things. That's fantastic.
I like that a lot. That's always fun. All right. So then there were a few. As they've been doing recently. They've been sort of, when people talk about finding bugs, then they will sometimes acknowledge them, essentially. Most of them, it's not really worth going after every last one, because this has nothing to do with how fast they're going to be able to fix them or anything like that. But a couple of these we wanted to mention. This one, because it could actually affect everyone in the game right now. If you withdraw too much at one time from the guild bank, it will delete credits without warning. So be careful, about withdrawals from your guild bank right now. So they did point that one out, and I think that one's worth pointing out right now. So so be careful right now if you're withdrawing from your guild bank. That could be bad. They did confirm that they know about the broken female animation bug, which I like to call the Eldritch Horror bug. No info on when it'll be fixed. I kind of love that bug, actually, but it is very disturbing. And
I tried it out with first person just to see if there's you can see the arm or anything, but nothing. I was like, darn it.
Yeah, but if you get close to it, it's really disturbing. Yeah, you can get some really wild screenshots and stuff. And then there were some bugs with the Swoop Bike event when it came up last time. There's some timers on bonuses that were bugged. The Blatant Black standard mount doesn't have sound, and we don't know if they'll get it ironed out for the return of the event. They didn't say so. Obviously, we hope so, but they didn't. They weren't able to say that one way or the other.
Well, have they announced another patch between now and the end of the month?
I didn't see one.
Because I'm guessing that it won't be fixed if there's no patch.
Yeah, it would have to. Right, it'd almost certainly have to be with a patch. Well, I mean, unless they do stuff on the back end. I guess it depends. Right. Yeah, but I did not see one mentioned. Let's see. Season 13, future of PvP. Longer term, we're looking at the season and reward structure of PvP to make sure they fulfill our guiding principles, meaningful rewards for meaningful effort, compelling reason to play each new season. In the short term, that means trying new things to see if we can create more healthy queues and a better playing environment. For Season 13, we want to increase the overall rewards earned from playing, and more specifically winning PvP and especially ranked matches. There are quite a few changes in 6.1.2b this week. This was... This is the one that just happened, I think, to move towards that goal. They're increasing the number of renown points and tech fragments received from PvP missions. Warzone medpacks and adrenals have been added to PvP missions, and players will receive legendary embers as rewards and daily Arena of Death, weekly Go Berserk, 5 of them for the weekly, and weekly
Nice.
Time for Pain, 1 ember. So that's pretty nice. They're also increasing the amount from daily ranked Warzone lockboxes and weekly ranked Warzone lockboxes. So it's an increased chance for random set bonuses or tactical items. Receive 4 equipment pieces up from 3, 4 mods up from 3, 5% chance for a legendary ember. This is for the daily. New chance for a satchel of crafting mats, grade 11. Warzone adrenals and medpacks have been removed. Renowned trophies have been removed. And then the weekly is kind of the same thing, only even more. So 8 equipment pieces up from 5, 8 mods up from 5, 10% chance for a legendary ember, 18 it says satchels, but 18 pieces of crafting mats. It's actually, they clarified later that this is like 3 satchels, but it's like 18 pieces. And 36 processed isotope stabilizers, and then again removing the adrenals, med packs, and trophies. So there you go.
Cool.
Yeah, so a lot of this is kind of the same, but they are looking at some of the rewards, a new armor set in addition to the seasonal rewards, titles, flares, frames, and battle flags, and then they're gonna look out to bring out all the remaining replicas. In other words, pretty much what they've done with the ranked PvP ones is, the ones that they come out with, they want them to stay available so you can buy the previous ones, and you can also like save up, and then as soon as the new vendor ones come available, you can just buy them immediately. There's no such thing as like rank 13 tokens, rank 14, or season 13 tokens, season 14 tokens. They're just doing it all under the same, and you can save up for the next season if you don't like the current season, or if you already have all this current season stuff like that. So there
That's
you go.
cool.
Yeah. And they're also extending the deserter queue lockout to 15 minutes, and that is going to include, they clarified that this is going to include unranked matches as well, to disincentivize leaving matches early. So yeah, they're sort of picking around the edges, just trying to figure out little things they can do to make PvP work better. And yeah, I'm pretty happy with it, actually. I'm to the point now where the characters that I have are almost all geared out, and I'm probably going to be looking to do more PvP. So it's nice that they're actually kind of paying attention to this sort of thing. And yeah, let's see. Finally, rest in peace to Grant Imahara. He was best known as one of the Mythbusters. He was also on BattleBots back in the day, if you're an old BattleBots fan like I was. Although they have a new BattleBots nowadays, but I'm talking about the old BattleBots back in like the late 90s. But Star Wars wise, it was more important that he was on ILM. He was a modeler for ILM, and he was also R2-D2's animatronics controller during the prequel films. So all 3 of the prequel movies, whenever there was an actual live R2 on set, that was Grant controlling R2. And unfortunately, he suffered a brain aneurysm and died at 49.
Jeez, that's so scary.
Yeah, it's very sudden. It's kind of upsetting for me also, because that's exactly what happened to my wife. She had the same thing happen to her, and it's very sudden. There's nothing you can do. So anyway, R.I.P. to Grant, and I really love Mythbusters too. I was a big fan of that back in the day.
Yep.
Did you
such
watch
a great show.
White Rabbit?
I hadn't. I knew he was starting that up, but I just haven't. I watch very little TV of any sort nowadays. I mean, even stuff that I actually have easy access to, like Disney Plus, I just haven't been doing very much of lately. But I heard about the White Rabbit project, and it sounded pretty cool. Yeah. What sort of stuff have they done on it that you liked?
I can't remember exactly what it was. I watched it when it first came out, and haven't revisited it. But it's Grant and the two other.
Is it Tori and Carrie?
Tori and Carrie, yeah, and I think one other woman's on there too.
Okay.
But it's basically the same
Yeah.
concept as Mythbusters, but with them.
Right.
And it's definitely, if you like Mythbusters, definitely worth a watch.
Cool.
Check it out. You'll enjoy it.
Yeah.
Grant, he was one of those guys that when I, watching Mythbusters, I would always kind of root for Grant's brain the same way that people root for sports teams.
Right.
I'm like, yes, he did it. So impressive. That's so awesome. And when I read that he passed away this morning, I was legitimately bummed. And, I haven't, felt that sad for a little while about someone I didn't know, just a celebrity. But rest in peace, Grant. You are one of my heroes.
Yeah, he was a good guy. So, all right. Do you guys have anything else?
Negative.
Nope.
All right, then. That's a show. If you'd like to play with us in the Utini Knights Guild on the Republic side of the Satil Shan server, or in our Guild on the Empire side, do a /C join Utini to join the Utini channel. Then let us know you're a fan of the show. You can email questions and comments about the show to OotiniCast@gmail.com. Follow us on Twitter using @OotiniCast. You can find contact details for us on our website, OotiniCast.com, which includes how to subscribe using iTunes, Stitcher, and the rest. We record the show live bi-weekly on Tuesdays, now at 4 p.m. Pacific. Go to OotiniCast.com/live to find out how to join in. Our theme song is Doomsday by Jean-Paul Zogby. And thank you to the chat room, and thanks, Dek, for coming.
Thanks for having me. I enjoyed it.
All right. And we'll see you next show.
Bye, everybody. Toodles.
All right. I'm going to stop the stream and stop the recording. Thanks for coming, everyone.
Bye, chat.